A 67-year-old war veteran walks into an animal shelter, just hoping to find a furry friend to keep him company. But what happens next? He locks eyes with a tiny German Shepherd puppy, and both of them start crying. Real tears. This isn't your typical adoption story. This is about a bond so powerful it survived heartbreak, illness, and impossible choices that will leave you speechless. Meet Robert Hayes, a retired army sergeant who served his country with honor through 3 tours in Afghanistan. After losing his beloved wife Margaret to a brutal cancer battle, Robert found himself completely alone for the first time in 40 years. His weathered hands still carried the dignity of a soldier, but his heart was broken beyond repair. Following a devastating heart attack that nearly claimed his life, his doctor suggested getting a companion animal might help with his recovery process. So there he was, walking through the doors of the Riverside Animal Shelter on a busy day. Looking for a calm, older dog to share his quiet retirement days. But fate had other plans waiting for him. As Robert browsed through the kennels with shelter coordinator Jennifer Martinez, a heartbreaking whimper caught his attention. It wasn't just any dog crying. It was desperate, almost human-like, cutting through all the other noise with laser precision. They followed the haunting sound to cage number 23. Where a 4-month-old German Shepherd puppy sat hunched against the back wall, looking absolutely defeated by life. The moment their eyes met, pure magic happened right before everyone's eyes. This little guy launched himself forward like a rocket, pressing against the chain-link door while making sounds that brought actual tears to everyone watching. His whole body was shaking with uncontrollable excitement, real tears streaming down his tiny muzzle as he desperately tried to reach through the bars. His tail was wagging so hard, his entire body moved with it. To his knees, and whispered one word that changed everything. Scout. Here's where this story gets absolutely incredible, beyond belief. This wasn't a random puppy meeting a stranger. This was Robert's own dog, the same little guy he'd raised from 6 weeks old, who'd spent months being the most amazing therapy companion to Robert's dying wife, Margaret. Scout had been Margaret's constant shadow during her cancer treatments, somehow knowing exactly when she needed gentle comfort or playful distraction to lift her spirits. But how did Scout end up abandoned in a cold shelter cage? When Robert suffered his massive heart attack 3 months after Margaret's devastating death, his daughter Patricia flew in from Oregon to handle the medical crisis, living 2,000 miles away with her own family responsibilities. Overwhelmed by grief and panic, perfect on paper. Young, energetic, great with kids. Everything a growing puppy should need. Except Scout was grieving too. Deeper than anyone understood. He'd lost his beloved Margaret, then suddenly lost Robert. And now he was trapped with complete strangers who couldn't comprehend his emotional pain. After 3 weeks of destructive behavior, constant anxiety, and obvious depression that broke everyone's heart, the Hendersons gave up on him completely. But instead of doing the right thing and returning Scout to Robert, they took the easy way out and dropped him at the shelter, lying to staff and claiming they'd simply found him wandering as a stray. Robert had absolutely no idea what had really happened. His daughter, Patricia, trying to protect him during recovery, told him Scout was thriving and perfectly happy with his wonderful new family. It was only when Robert finally felt strong enough to make the trip to visit Scout that Patricia broke down and co. Truth. Completely heartbroken and determined, Robert spent 3 desperate days calling every single shelter in the entire county, praying someone would have seen his boy. And now here they were, miraculously reunited against all odds in the most emotional scene. But this is where the story absolutely breaks your heart into pieces. Robert wanted nothing more in this world than to scoop up Scout and take him home immediately. But his severely damaged heart meant he could barely care for himself anymore, let alone handle an energetic puppy destined to become a powerful working dog. His cardiologist had been crystal clear about his limitations. Absolutely no stress, no heavy lifting, minimal physical activity, or his heart would simply give out. Scout would eventually grow into an 80-pound bundle of pure energy who needed several hours of intense exercise daily. Robert sat in that quiet consultation room, holding Scout close for what he thought might be the very last. Impossible choice of his entire life. Keep the dog he loved more than anything and risk both their well-being in the process, or make another soul-crushing sacrifice that would destroy them both. That's when Dr. Amanda Chin, the shelter's volunteer veterinarian, stepped in with a completely radical idea that challenged everything. She'd been carefully watching Scout's miraculous transformation from a severely depressed, barely eating puppy who wouldn't interact with anyone to an alert, joyful dog the exact moment Robert walked through those doors. "Listen carefully," she told the shelter team with conviction. "This isn't really about physical exercise requirements. Scout desperately needs emotional healing above everything else, and Robert needs genuine purpose to keep living. What if they completely threw out the traditional rulebook for once?" Chin boldly proposed treating this unique situation as an actual medical prescription, Scout serving as Robert. Animal. Robert serving as Scout's essential emotional anchor for recovery. The shelter director, Carol Williams, had witnessed plenty of adoptions that looked absolutely perfect on paper, but failed miserably within weeks. Sometimes the most unlikely, unconventional matches created the strongest, most lasting bonds. Together, they created something truly beautiful and groundbreaking. A special foster-adopt program with comprehensive built-in support systems. Monthly wellness check-ins, volunteer dog walking assistance, completely subsidized veterinary care, and ongoing training resources. Robert would finally get his desperately needed companion. Scout would get his crucial stability and healing. And the dedicated shelter team would carefully monitor every aspect of their progress together. The first few months were absolutely magical, beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Robert's gentle, structured daily routine was absolutely perfect for Scout's traumatize. Peaceful morning walks around the quiet neighborhood, relaxing afternoons together while Robert read or worked on light household tasks, and calm evenings in the backyard where they both found peace. Scout quickly learned to read Robert's energy levels with incredible accuracy, becoming completely calm and supportive on the difficult days when Robert felt weak, then playful and engaging when Robert's strength returned, neighbors throughout the community noticed the remarkable positive change in both of them. Immediately, Robert had genuine purpose again, something meaningful to wake up for every single morning. Scout had finally found his true peace, knowing with absolute certainty he was exactly where he belonged in this world. But life rarely gives us those perfect fairy tale endings we dream about. 3 months into their beautiful reunion, signs that his severely damaged heart simply couldn't keep functioning anymore. His cardiologist delivered the crushing, life-changing news during a routine appointment. Maybe weeks remaining, possibly a few months if they were incredibly fortunate with aggressive treatment. Scout somehow knew the terrible truth before anyone else did. Dogs always sensed these things. He immediately became Robert's devoted shadow, his personal guardian angel. Lying protectively beside him during increasingly frequent rest periods, and monitoring his declining condition with those remarkably intelligent dark eyes that seemed to understand everything. Robert's only constant worry during this time: what would happen to his beloved Scout when he was finally gone? Here's where this incredible story proves that genuine love creates actual miracles in impossible situations. Patricia, the same daughter who'd made that desperate, well-intentioned decision months earlier, flew down from Ur